Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're plunging into something that honestly seems super simple at first glance, maybe even charming. We're talking about a fish. But believe me, what we're about to uncover just beneath the surface with this particular fish, it's really not simple at all. It demands a much closer look. Okay, so we're doing a deep dive today based on an article, Notes on Fishkeeping, Part 130, The Ethical Dilemma of Balloon Rams. It's by Ang, just came out September 3rd, 2025. And our mission really is to kind of pull back the curtain on some ethical questions around, selective breeding in the fish trade. The balloon ram is just such a compelling case study for this. It really makes you look past that first impression, see the whole picture. And what we find is a kind of a hidden story. Makes you think differently about the choices we make, even with pets. So, okay, picture this fish, the balloon ram. It's a version of the German Blue Ram Cichlid. Microgeophagus ramirezi, that's the scientific name. But if you've seen a regular German blue ram, they're pretty sleek, right? Elegant. The balloon ram, though, it's different.
It's been selectively bred to be way rounder, much chubbier, almost like a little ball. This exaggerated shape, sometimes called dwarf or balloon, it's done on purpose for aesthetics, to make it look cute or novel. And honestly, that's made it super popular. You see one, and yeah, your first thought is probably, oh, look at the little swimming puffball.
Yeah, and it's fascinating, isn't it? But also a bit concerning how that immediate cute reaction feeds the ornamental fish trade. I mean, this industry really thrives on novelty, on making something look unique. Just think about all the fish varieties out there that look almost nothing like their wild ancestors. Brighter colors, longer fins, or like here, a totally different body shape. The balloon ram is such a clear example of this drive. The industry is basically prioritizing this specific manufactured look over the natural, streamlined, efficient shape that wild German blue rams have. It's really about making something grab your eye in a busy pet store, something that makes you stop and say, oh, I want that one.
Right, that cute factor, you just can't deny it. It grabs you.
Yeah.
But here's where we pivot, get into the real deep dive part. Because what Ang's research brings out, and what, frankly, most people probably don't realize, is that behind that sort of charming, chubby look, there's something structurally, broken.
Broken is, unfortunately the right word. This balloon shape, it's not just some quirky genetic thing or a minor variation. It is fundamentally a significant spinal deformity. We're not talking about a small change. It's a deliberate altering of the fish's skeleton, basically manipulating genetics to force this naturally streamlined fish into a really unnatural compressed shape. Imagine, if we bred dogs to have these super curved spines that squeeze their organs, people would be outraged, right? Well, for the balloon ram, that's pretty much what's happening. And the consequences, they go way beyond just how it looks. They're severe. This deformity, it compresses their organs and their spine. Just think about the mechanics of that. Their internal systems, digestion, breathing, reproduction, they're all crammed into the smaller, unnatural space. It's not just uncomfortable, it directly messes with how their body functions, their overall well-being. It'd be like a person trying to live with their organs constantly squeezed or their spine bent out of shape. It makes even basic things, basic movements, a struggle.
Wow. Yeah, when you say compressed organs and spine, that paints a really grim picture. But for our listeners, what does that actually mean day to day for the fish? How does this deformity really impact its ability to just be a fish? Does it mess with swimming, eating?
Oh, absolutely. It translates directly into a life with a much higher risk for all sorts of health problems. When organs are compressed, they just can't work properly. Their digestion might struggle, leading to, poor nutrient uptake, chronic gut issues. Their gills, which are vital for breathing, might not be as efficient, so they're more likely to have respiratory problems. All this makes them way more vulnerable to diseases, infections, stuff a healthy, normally shaped fish could probably fight off easily. We also see real problems with swimming, with just staying buoyant, because their natural hydrodynamics are completely messed up. They just can't move like their wild cousins, not with that grace or efficiency. And maybe the saddest part, all these things add up to a significantly shorter lifespan. These creatures evolved for a specific environment, right? Where being agile, efficient, healthy is key to survival. These bred traits, the compressed spine, squished organs, difficult to move, they would absolutely cripple them in the wild. They wouldn't last. Nature doesn't select for cute and compressed. It selects for efficiency, resilience, the ability to thrive. And this kind of breeding actively works against that at a really basic biological level.
Yeah, it's truly heartbreaking when you stop and think about what their daily life must be like. And Ang, the author of our source article, isn't just talking theory here. They shared a really personal, quite impactful experience. They actually tried breeding balloon rams themselves. And this wasn't just, a casual attempt. Ang is clearly an experienced fish keeper, really dedicated. Ang mentioned some specific, really disheartening problems they ran into. For one, apparently, it was incredibly hard just to tell the males from the females correctly. Which sounds simple, maybe, but for lots of fish, there are subtle physical clues you need to see. With the balloon ram's altered body, those natural signs are often just gone or hidden. Made breeding super complicated. Stressful, too, I imagine, for everyone involved. But maybe even more worrying was that they just couldn't keep the offspring alive for long, despite, all their effort and knowledge. This wasn't someone new to fish struggling with the basics.
And that's such a crucial point Ang makes. That statement about keeping all environmental factors within the acceptable range for the species, that really highlights where the problem lies. It wasn't bad care, right? Not poor water or the wrong food or a bad tank setup. It strongly suggests the issues were built in, inherent to the fish's genetics. A direct result of the very traits they were bred for. It shows that even with perfect care, the most dedicated owner can't fully fix a fundamental biological flaw that's been, well, engineered into the animal. You give them the best environment possible, and they still struggle because their own bodies are working against them.
And it's not like this is a brand new problem Ang just discovered. They mentioned a video showing these fish from, 7 years ago, around New Year's 2018. So this has been going on for a while in the trade. It's not some recent fad. It seems like a pretty entrenched practice with these long-term consequences just continuing to produce these vulnerable fish. Clearly the market for them is still there, despite everything.
Which leads us right to Ang's very clear ethical conclusion. It's powerful because it comes directly from that personal experience. After seeing the struggles, the health problems, the short lives, when faced with the question of keeping or breeding them again, Ang's answer was just, no, absolutely not. It's a really stark rejection born from empathy and understanding the suffering involved. And this, well, it raises a big question for all of us, doesn't it? For you listening. How do our choices as consumers in the pet trade feed into these dilemmas, or how could they help fix them? When we decide to buy a designer pet, do we actually know what went into making it? Are we maybe supporting practices that put looks way ahead of welfare? It really pushes us to think more critically about what aesthetics mean when applied to living beings and the responsibility we have as owners and consumers.
Yeah, and that really is the core takeaway from this deep dive, isn't it? The balloon ram isn't just some fish. It's like a living lesson, stark and clear. It shows how our focus on, superficial cuteness and breeding can accidentally engineer suffering, leading to these major physical problems and just a dramatically lower quality of life for the animal itself. What looks charming on the outside can hide a lot of suffering, a quiet struggle most people just don't see.
Exactly. And this conversation, it goes beyond fish tanks, right? The balloon ram is kind of a mirror for lots of choices we make in a world so driven by how things look. So our final thought for you, the listener, is maybe try applying this critical lens more broadly. Don't just stop at pets. Look past the surface appeal, whether it's consumer goods, fast fashion, even the design of a new phone. Just take a moment. Think about the processes behind it, where it came from, the potential ethical stuff hidden underneath. Real value, and maybe real responsibility, often lays deeper than that shiny surface in the story of how something came to be.
Absolutely. It really does put the responsibility back on us, to dig a bit deeper. So as you go about your day, maybe just ponder this. What other cute or, aesthetically pleasing trends out there might be hiding similar ethical issues just beneath the surface? It's definitely a question worth asking. Encourages us all to be a bit more thoughtful, I think. Thanks for diving deep with us today.